Well, the prosecution has rested just before the defense started their case with who they say is a computer expert. Now, we're down to day 6 of the federal fraud trial. The father and his son accused of ripping off small business loans. There is often Tariq Freitag, owners of Shish kebab restaurant in Charlotte, now accused of conspiring to take more than $1.7 million in COVID-related business loans.
And today, for the first time, we heard from the father, Izzoff, as he took the stand. And our chief legal correspondent, Seema Iyer, once again, the only local reporter in the courtroom. She was there for all of it. She joins us now live. So, Seema, the father decided to testify, but the son did not. Were you surprised by that?
I was shocked because Tariq, even around the courthouse, he's a lot more verbal. He makes a lot of eye contact. He seems very friendly. He seems like he wants to talk. Also, he is a filmmaker, so he has that persona. So everybody was collectively shocked. But the reason could be, I'm not sure, but it could be a lot of times when you have co-defendants, especially if they are related, sometimes there may be some type of joint defense going on behind the scenes. Perhaps all the lawyers agreed that Izzoff would be the better person to testify, because at this point, Tariq really isn't being talked about a lot. He's really in the background. Think about all the bank records we heard about, the tax returns, the companies. These are all in Izzoff's name. So when he took the stand, you know, he's an elderly man. He came across super warm, talked about the restaurant, made the entire jury laugh and chuckle, and he kept talking about hummus and falafel and shawarma and baba ganoush, and we were all getting super hungry. And he also came across as someone who is very religious, and I could see these jurors, guys, they were super engaged. They were making eye contact, they were nodding, they were laughing, really in an affectionate way when sometimes there was some missteps with the interpreter. So it just came across so far that he was doing really well, at least on direct, guys.
All right, so the father, again, taking the case in this, taking the stand in this case, coming across very personable. What was his explanation, though, for the PPP loan, and does he have a good defense?
Okay. He says that a third party called Kyber Capital contacted him and they would do the PPP applications. In fact, he didn't even know it was called PPP the whole time. He kept calling it government loans. He says that he gave his email, his bank account information, all his passwords, everything over to Kyber Capital. And he says that he initially paid them that $1,000 fee after he gave all his information over. What was confusing is yesterday, the prosecution said that $1,000 that was supposed to go to Kyber, in fact, went to a social media company to buy followers, and he had no explanation for that. He says that when he got the money, he knew that he was going to get some money, and he says he paid the meat vendors, he paid his employees, and only the leftover money went to his family. He also bought some new equipment for the store, and Izzoff claims that when he received that $1 million deposit, because guys, remember, there's that $1.7 million and there's 4 companies, but the major deposit went to Green Apple and it was $1 million. And he says at that point, he called the police or went to the bank because he thought something was wrong and he was willing to report it. He said that he wanted to help the government. He kept saying that he didn't do this. He said, God forgive me, never, I would never do this. And the problem I have as a, you know, watching this as a lawyer and a reporter is, where is Kyber? Where is Kyber? Because, guys, the defense is rested. The case is over. We're closing arguments tomorrow. Where is Kyber?
All right. Well, you can hear Seema definitely fired up there. Obviously, a lot of information going on today, but we also got to see a surprise witness in court. Tell us about that, Seema.
The reason this was such a surprise for me is that the defense called a character witness. Character is so dangerous because basically, if I get on the stand and say Ryan is a great guy, then the other side can bring 10 people, although they probably don't exist, to say Ryan's not a great guy.
Right.
So the defense called an imam, and that is a Muslim leader of the mosque, to come in and talk about Izzoff and what a great guy he is. But another major surprise witness who in my opinion, did a great job was one of his daughters testified. She'd been working at the company for the restaurant, for the last 3 years. She's still in high school. She's almost graduating. And the most compelling information that she gave to this jury is that her father is not tech savvy. He doesn't have a computer. He doesn't know how to send email. In fact, he very rarely can even text in English. When she texts him in English, he responds in Arabic. So that really came across well because it set him up to be someone who could perhaps be taken advantage by a tech company. The problem that I see happening tomorrow is the prosecution is going to remind this jury that Khyber is connected to Tariq. Tariq is the co-defendant and the son of Izzat, and there we go. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., summation time, closing arguments here in federal court, guys.